All right, guys, now I'm going to show you some of the new books that we got in our fiction section. So I would call these books probably third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade. Most of them, actually almost all of them, are continuations of series. So if you were a fan of the series before, you might want to check these out, or it'll give you a chance to try the series from the beginning if you haven't yet. So I'm going to kind of start with our silly books. I've got them all stacked around me, so my arms are going to So we have the new Wimpy Kid here in print, The Deep End. Everybody likes that one. We've got two of these, Ben Braver in the Vortex of Doom. A lot of people really like the first one, which was about a burping kid or something. I know these are just like, they're silly, they're fun, but there's a lot of action and adventure to them. And there's also some fun illustrations. Honestly, I think if you like Wimpy Kid, you'll like this series too. And we've got, I think, two of these at least, maybe three. This is the newest one. Two dogs in a trench coat enter stage left. Again, very silly, lots of great humorous illustrations. Check out that series. So now we've got several, by request, of Geronimo Stilton. So we have some of the Kingdom of Fantasy, which you guys are big fans of. So we've got The Battle for Crystal Castle. We've got one of his sister now, Thea Stilton. We've had a few of these. This one is Race for the Gold. And then two time traveling ones. This one's Lost in Time. This is the fourth journey through time. I don't know where he goes. Oh, this is Egyptian. So check this out if you like Egyptian mythology. And then I've got the seventh journey through time. And looks like he's going back to the time of Stonehenge. And he's got some pirate cats with him. So these are always great. Everybody loves the illustrations in these. I like the text style, where as you read, you can see how the font changes. That might help you understand and decode some of the words. So that was my Geronimo Stilton pile. Sticking with fantasy, I've got the two latest ones for the Last Kids on Earth series. So this completes the series, actually. So this one here, Skeleton Road, that's the last one. And June's Wild Flight is the sixth one, fifth one, the one before the end. So I know a lot of kids are super into this series. We have some ebook versions of them, but if you want to read them in print, here they are. This is a sequel to one that we have. If you're a fan of like the Rick Riordans and the mythology and action and adventure, this is a great story. It involves Indian mythology and Hindu gods and goddesses, which is super interesting. A lot of people don't go for this unless I make them, but once they do, they really enjoy this series. So check this out. The series is called, I'm going to say it wrong, Purnamala and the Kingdom Beyond. And let's see if I can figure out the first one. The first one is called The Serpent's Secret. So you might want to start with that. Second one is Game of Stars, and then you have this one. And this is another series that's another like sort of mythology one that you might enjoy if you're like into that style. Lots of action and adventure. This is the second one. Let's see if I can figure out what the first one was called. Okay, Arusha and the Song of Death is the first one, so you might want to start out with that. But again, just a new take on mythology. So you want to look at that series. And that's it for my fantasy. Now, I've got some sports. This is a continuation of some ones that we have. The first one's called Ghost, then Patina, then Sunny, and now this one, Lou. It's a great realistic fiction series about some kids on a track team, and they have difficult lives. Sometimes these books can be a little hard to read because of the circumstances that the kids find themselves in, but they're so engaging, and you feel like you get to know the kids really well. I recommend you start off with the first one, Ghost, if you haven't read this. So definitely if you're into sports, check out this series, but even if you're not, just if you like realistic stories, this series would be great. The author is Jason Reynolds. So this is one of the only not series ones that we have. This is called Becoming Muhammad Ali. And this is written by James Patterson, who writes a lot of books, and Kwame Alexander. So Kwame Alexander has written a few other books. One's called Booked, one's called Crossover, and one's called Rebound, I think. And he writes in what we call verse, which is like sort of poetry, but it's, I think of it more like almost like rap. So it's just short words and phrases rather than full-on sentences. So if you are a sports person, definitely check out Becoming Muhammad Ali. But again, just really great realistic stories. Sticking with sort of realistic life stories, I've got The Three Keys. This is by Kelly Yang. Now this is a sequel, so if you haven't read the first one, which is called Front Desk, you might want to start there. I'm not sure how clear this one's going to be if you haven't read this, but this is about an immigrant family of Asian descent, and they, in the first book, they buy and open a hotel, and it's just like their immigrant experience and how difficult it can be to do that when you don't know the language, you don't know how things work. Starting over in a new school, trying to make friends. I loved the first one. I haven't had a chance to read this one, but you might want to check out Three Keys. This is a new one, not a series. It's called It's My Party and I Don't Want To. And it's about a girl who's having her bat mitzvah. So that's in Jewish heritage. When you turn a certain age, you sort of have this, well, it's a party, but the beginning part of it is religious, where you almost have to go up in front of the entire congregation and you have to go through certain rituals and things to say. And she's pretty shy, and so she doesn't want to have to deal with all this. So if you like realistic stories about other cultures, check out It's My Party and I Don't Want to Go. Now we've got just a couple other more like realistic-y ones. I've got a couple of new Boxcar Children. If you're into mysteries, you can check out the Power Down Mystery and the Skeleton Key Mystery. Continuing this series, Whatever Ever After. This is Two Peas in a Pod, so I know a lot of people like this one. There's a new one for that. I've got two new Horse Diaries, very popular. I've got Penny and Luna. You're into those. Two new Judy, Moody, and Stink, brother and sister. So book Quiz Whiz is Judy, and Attack of the Slime Mold is her brother Stink. Finally, for my fiction area, I've got a couple of historical fiction titles. This is the Hamilton Burr Duel. The series is Flashback 4. You don't have to have read the other series to do this. They kind of stand alone. So if you liked the Jack and Annie books, Magic Tree House, when you were a little bit younger and you want to kind of move on to some more time travel, I would check this out. We also have the Lincoln Project and the Titanic Mission in this series. And then finally, these are pretty popular. Soldier Dogs. I think we have these in ebooks, but here's the print version of Buster and Jack. So look for these. The first one's called Heroes on the Home Front, and the second one is Shipwreck on the High Seas. So lots of great choices for you to read fiction. So I hope that you will now go on to Destiny, put some of these books that you see in the video on hold, and you can come pick them up soon. See you then.